So let's go down the journey of the decks I was considering. In fact, maybe I can even share the specific data that I gathered. So I've went ahead and compiled the matchups of the last 7 days that I played. What I found out was that Patron was a really good deck, but it may not be as good against Druid as I had thought it would be. It's really strong, however I may be stronger at another thing. So Patron falls to my number 2, and Reno Jackson climbs to be number 1. With 2 weeks left in the season, it's time to bust out my strongest decks. Here's the 2 decks that I kind of juggled. One is something that I call Rombo. Now, Rombo is nothing new from my part. It is simply a Reno Jackson deck which has a lot of utility and tries to finish the opponent off with Leroy plus Faceless plus Power Overwhelming after getting a Emperor Thorson discount. I think based off of the metagame, my personal Rombo Lock creation might be better. Not saying it is, but I'm saying that since there's not that much heavy control out there, that this version with the Void Colors might be better. Why Leroy over Arcane Golem is it not better? Because it is not dependent on Thorstein's mana reduction. That's an excellent question, and I actually asked the deck creator the same question. And it turns out that since all you need to do is play Thorstein on any one of the 3 cards, that it just happens to be worth it because it's like a free extra 4 damage, and 4 damage is a lot, as it turns out. One thing that I was inspired by, on some thought of not playing this deck for a while and having seen the Rombo Lock, I'm going to make one change to this deck. And the changes to this deck are actually fairly significant because there's only 1 copy of each card in the deck, but you so often go through so many cards that each card that you put in the deck, you actually have like above a 50% chance of drawing through the course of the game, just due to how this deck works. So any card can weigh this deck down, and what I've determined is that the card that is weighing this deck down is Molten Giant. It's not in the other one. It is a little too specific of situations to be played, and I'm not sure if I'm in a bad position that I can use the Molten Giant to come back. There have been times where I'm sure Molten Giant has saved me, but I look through all of these cards, and I think Molten Giant is the weak link. I'm going to take this moment to read the chat and see if anyone disagrees or if anyone has a better idea of what to remove, but I think that one is the weak link. Oh, and happy Martin Luther King Day, guys. That's right, no Shadow Flame plus Molten anymore. It's a shame. Why no Fugan and Stalik? Because there's Void Colors. Can't fit Fugan and Stalik. Did you check out Eloise's Reno deck and use the Wilfred Chiselbang? I haven't, and that sounds interesting, but I will not humor that. I've tried Fizzlebang in Handlock, and it didn't work there, so I can't imagine it working here. Anyways, looks like there's general approval for my move. Not that it mattered at all. I was just looking for a good reason to remove another card instead. And we're going to put in Twisting Nether, which, by the way, happened to be my favorite animation in the game before Voltron and Mimiron's head came out. But this is my second favorite animation in the game. So, you lose the opportunity to Molten plus Shadow Flame it, but that usually means you had no board anyway, so Twisting Nether does the same thing. It does cost 4 more mana, but it can be helpful. Without Molten, do you really need both Sun Fury and Defender? I asked myself that, and I think Sun Fury is a little bit of a weak link in the deck. However, there is the opportunity to taunt Voidcaller and Lord Jiraxis and other things. Plus, it is a 2-drop, which I can just play as a 2-drop. Maybe Ooze instead of Sun Fury? I thought about that. I don't think there's enough weapons in the current metagame, though it is close. Please keep in mind of Ooze instead of Sun Fury when you play today. I think that's actually a really good call, because if I were to cut Sun Fury, it would very likely be for Ooze. So, there are going to be games where Sun Fury is better, there are going to be games where Ooze is better. and I will not get nearly the correct amount of sample size to decide which one's better, but it's a first step.
I must protect the one. Your soul shall be mine.
A bit tough to match up against Druid. It was my first game of this deck. However, I think that of all versions of decks of Reno that you can play, this might be the best one against Druid. I mean, other than Zoo. For Reno Lock. I think last month when I was playing this deck, I actually had a positive win rate against Zoo, but small sample size and all that.
Buying or selling.
Oh, hi, Amnesia. Nice of you to join us. I can't believe you're not a mod. Oh, that was a very nice turn 3 by him, for me. Do you mulligan for Void Caller in this list, considering that you have 2 in the deck? Yes, it is the best card in this deck. It's an always keep. It's a hopefully you get. There are hands where you wouldn't mulligan any cards, in theory, if you didn't have a Void Caller, but it's one of the top cards in this deck, yes. How do you feel about Gadgetzan Jouster instead of Sun Fury? It's like a second zombie with a curve and you face a lot of aggro. Well, first of all, you have to make the decision of whether or not you face a lot of aggro. If you do face a lot of aggro, then Gadgetzan Jouster is probably a real consideration. I think even with that, it's worth considering, but I've chosen not to.
Where shall I strike?
It's a really good turn to Lotheb because he probably plans on coining out a 7. Yeah. This is actually something that I had been thinking about. Lotheb against a Druid going second when he has the coin, when he's about to reach turn 6. It's not actually something I've thought about a lot, but I've gotten Lotheb enough with the coin in my hand that I'm like, wow, that's actually a really good play. How good has the Dread Inferno been for me? I think Dread Inferno is a fine card. It turns out that the 1 damage to all other characters is pretty useful. Becomes a lot better the more Secret Paladin there is. I know that when I was playing Demon Handlock, as you'll know, Amnesia, the Dread Inferno almost made the cut in that deck. So I figure if you're playing Reno Jackson, you have a lot of 1-ofs. Especially since I'm running 2 Void Caller, that adding 1 more demon is helpful. In my experience, I was missing a good amount of times when I... Whoa. With the Void Caller, when I didn't have the Dread Inferno. I was missing more times than I would have liked. Alright, so I have 2 choices. Dread Inferno Dark Bomb or Sludge Belcher Dark Bomb. It's better to play a 6/6, I think. Spend the mana efficiently. Alright, Void Caller has been drawn. Now Reno Jackson is active. Looks like I'm on my way winning this one. Lord Jaraxxus wants to be pulled out in this match due to the difficulty of playing Jaraxxus and then not dying after. Do you think this deck is strictly better than the Stalag Fugan version, or do both have their pros and cons depending on the matchups? I personally think this version is strictly better, but But I'm sure there's a few matchups where the Stalag Fugen version is better. So I guess not strictly better, mostly better. What percentage of weapon classes would you want to see before making the Ooze switch? And why no Harrison? Well, Ooze beats Harrison, first of all. So the question is how many before making the switch. And I'm going to vaguely say 50%, but I don't really know what percentage is the right number to consider. I'm not even sure what card is the weakest card in this deck, which I would replace. I had hinted to Sun Fury Protector, but yeah. Oh, wow, that's a good draw. Means I can trade into that. And I can also be immune. And he's played BGH already. Gavin, by the way, is actually the one who tossed me the Rombo Lock deck, which is the Leroy Faceless Power Overwhelming. I kind of got a debate in the chat between Amnesia, who thinks this version of the deck is best, and Gavin, who actually sent me the Reno, or the Rombo Lock, which is Reno plus... Oh, that's a... Reno plus... Leroy plus Faceless, and I'm kind of the middle ground opinion, which is that the Rombo Lock is better than the Reno Lock if there's a lot of Reno or Rombo Lock in the meta.
Time waits for no one.
What about Reno plus Dreadsteed plus Baron Rivendare? I mean, in the right meta, that would be better. I can't even imagine what the right meta that would be. And it'd be like some kind of really heavy control meta. Of which Rombo Lock is not better than Reno Lock somehow. But there's a place for it, I'm sure. Somewhere.
Gul'dan versus Garrosh. Victory or death.
Twisting Nether.
Shall be mine.
I can see the arguments to this list. I'm interested to see if it will fare better in this meta. Do you plan on playing many games with both versions? I played this version a lot last month. I have not played any actual Rombo Lock. But you can expect me to play Rombo Lock if there's a lot of Reno Lock or Rombo Lock out there. There's a certain point in my spreadsheet where the matchups will be enough of this. There's a conceivable point where I would actually switch decks because I would believe the other version was better. But for now in this meta, I think this version is better. But you know, this is all very finicky, and it's the power of data right there. It's worth mentioning that I consider the two decks of Reno Lock and Rombo Lock, the terminology I'm using to coin for Reno, which runs Leroy Faceless Power Overwhelming. I think those two are different enough decks that they actually have pretty significantly different matchups. And originally I was just lazily lumping them together, but I think they're different enough that you need two categories. Probably worth it to Lotheb here. It blocks crazy combo from happening if he has exactly crazy combo.
Let the pain speak to me.
I don't know if this is Patron or Control Warrior yet, but I feel pretty comfy against either matchup. Alright, now I have the answer to Patron.
Welcome to the grand
Oh, okay, Control.
Excuse me.
Any deck you fully made your own. Yeah, I mean, I actually had a Zoo Reno deck. I actually considered this deck to be fairly my own creation as well. I think the 2 Void Colors makes it innovative enough. I'll take a bit of credit for that one. Not that I really cared that much about, like, oh man, I made this, but... Alright, so in this matchup, I am going to aim to get something tough taunted, and then play Lord Jaraxxus, and then win the game. I wonder if I should play Sylvanas out in this board. Seems bad to execute. I might just play Lord Jaraxxus the next turn. This play denies a few plays, such as Alexstrasza, which would be pretty troubling. Takes an execute. It's not great, but I'll play it. If he doesn't have the answer, it's a real pain. I mean, Death Spite will do it, Execute will do it. Should play something. Nice, he doesn't have the answer. Makes life really tough for him. Let's do it!
You face Jaraxxus, Eldar Lord of the Burning Legion!
Let none survive.
Yeah, not the perfect answer for him, but an answer. It's also a card. I almost considered not attacking him in the face just because he would burn an extra card if he played Harrison. He looked like he actually had a lot of cards, so...
My hand is full.
Do I feel scared of dying? A little bit. Do I have any good play? Not really. I don't think I can taunt only one Inferno and hope to win. So I'm going to press the button and pass. Unless I want a Dark Bomb plus Hellfire. Yeah, that's probably better. 3, 4, 6. I still died to Harris, or I still died to... I'm just gonna push the button and pass. I died to the combo either way.
I can wait longer. I will fight with honor. Your soul shall be mine.
Argus would have been incorrect the last game due to BGH, as well as the necessity to actually taunt 2 things.
Well met.
I greet you.
Put this apple on your head.
It took such a long time to come back that I didn't even think it had. Not that it even mattered, because I wasn't going to do anything about it. Have I thought about playing more common cards instead of Dread Inferno to mask the fact that this is Reno? Yeah, actually, that was a little bit of the plan when I had a Reno Zoo deck. And by the way, the Reno Zoo deck is not bad. Opinion me. Nice. This is the matchup where Dread Inferno has a chance to shine. Gonna need one more mana though. And if I didn't have the Dread Inferno, I wouldn't even have a demon in hand, so. Getting the card out there seems good. Should I owl the Shredder? Ooh, I should have killed one of these first because it could have avenged onto that. Mistake. It's competitive.
Shields up. Red alert.
I'll use a 6/6 to kill 2/2.
Move quickly. I wonder. Reporting for duty.
There's a lot of hesitation to play that button. Unusual. What was his other choice? I wonder if I knew it was Repentance, if I would have attacked the 2/2. Oh, maybe he passed the player in MCT. Makes sense.
None of your business.
This is real tough.
Move quickly.
I think there's Avenge, Noble Sack, and the one remaining is actually could be any of the last ones. Usually Redemption, and that would be a 2 Redemption.
I wonder.
Let's see. I think I plan on Boom Protector. Boom should block the 6. In a perfect world, BGH hits this. Yeah, it's 25% of the time. Okay, so he has lethal on the board, kind of. Alright, now he doesn't have lethal on the board, but needs 2.
I'll never tell.
Move quickly.
So either Avenge or Noble.
Put this apple on your head.
Oh, that's a really good card.
I got this.
There are a lot of cards, though, to be fair, that would have been quite good. That needs exactly Consecration. Alright, that one is Avenge. I would like the Avenge to have the chance to hit the 7/7 so I can Siphon Soul for more value, but if I kill the Boombot before healing, I might die. So that's the dilemma. And I believe I use Siphon Soul over BGH because I want to gain health. Oh, this is lovely.
Almost out of time.
It's possible that I forgot that I didn't have the mana. Play bad, get there. Although, by missing the 3 damage... There's this justice, though. Note to self to look at how much mana you have before deciding your play. If I did him for... no, it wouldn't be lethal. Alright. You're gonna be rich? Someday we'll be rich. Someday. Yeah, that's still 1 above. Based off his play so far, most of the time I win this game. I guess Tyrion would be a problem.
I am sorry. Reporting for duty. The victory is yours.
Bluff, 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 bluff.
Gul'dan versus Gul'dan. Your soul shall be mine. I am your nightmare.
This is kept against Zoo. Otherwise I'd mulligan it. And he's Rombo Lock. It's a pretty poor matchup. I'm not even sure if I can play around the combo.
I greet you.
But maybe I should think of it as Druid. Maybe what I need to think about this matchup is like he's Druid. I'll play on curve and save the coin.
Buying or selling.
Duh. A lot of people asking what Rombo Lock is. It's my shorthand for saying Reno Lock, which runs Leroy Faceless power. Probably have to explain that every single time. Which negates the point of calling it Rombo Lock. But oh well. Coin Sylvanas. Seems good while he has the lead.
I have no time for games.
That may or may not be good, depending on whether or not he's Reno Lock or Rombo Lock. Also, if he killed that, he was probably hoping for Mal'Ganis, which means he probably has a BGH in his hand. Yeah, that would be a perfect turn for him, BGH plus that, so I'll move forward in this game assuming he has BGH in hand. Pretty tough for him to deal with Lord Jaraxxus in any way other than twisting or siphon. Why not just call it Combo Lock? Because I want to differentiate between Combo Lock, which runs Reno, and just straight Combo Lock, and to look into the mind of Trump, I guess.
My shield.
I was a little hesitant to play this in case of Twisting Nether, but I was like, yeah, let the Twisting Nether come. So he can combo me for 20 damage. That's Leroy Power of Face. Possibly 23 if a Dark Bomb got discounted. It's a shame that these Boombots aren't demons. Then Mal'Ganis could buff them.
Buying or selling.
Random thoughts. Alright, he's gotten rid of his Siphon and his BGH, so there might not be a good answer to Mal'Ganis. I would want to get the Implosion out of the way and then play the Mal'Ganis.
We're gonna be rich.
I might have to Siphon Reno Jackson. I think this is a combo lock. I think I'm very close to dying if I leave anything on the board. Yeah, Siphon on a 4-6. Seems reasonable. What else is there to Siphon? There's Dr. Boom. I'll get BGH by then. I'm in lethal range, so I have to. I have to. I feel obligated. Could also have Twisting Nethered plus Hero Power. But getting the Imps out is really good for Mal'Ganis. A shame there are only 2 of them. If I'd gotten 3 of them, I could play Mal'Ganis and feel really happy. Yeah, it's gonna be Twisting Nether most of the time here. The thing is, if I tap, I die to Rombo Lock a lot of the time because of the boom bots. But I feel like I have to anyways. Do I want a Twisting Nether only 177? There's really not much to hit, that's other than that. I have to get really lucky on the bombs. Ah.
Well played. Well played.
Trade an Imp before Nethering. Oh, that was a good idea. Yeah, that would be a pretty good idea.